Welcome back to Chasing Whiskey.
I'm James.
And I'm Terry. And what's today, James?
This is a very difficult day because we are picking our favorites from our tour of Scotland.
And on the tour of Scotland, we visited 5 of the 6 regions. Officially, there's 5 regions, but a 6th region we considered the islands because we couldn't get a bottle from Campbeltown, which is the other region.
Yes.
And so James thinks we're here to do our favorite 10, but to little James's surprise, one of our subscribers actually made arrangements for us to try a Campbeltown whiskey.
What? No.
Absolutely. James has no idea.
Are you kidding
But
me?
boom, Springbank. Oh my God is right.
Cool. We can't get this.
I know we can't get this. What do you think of the box, James?
That is a gorgeous box. And I am blown away.
I figured you would be.
You held that.
I have known about this for about 3 to 4 weeks. It arrived about a week ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not doing...
We're not doing our favorite 10 now, and we're going to have to change it to our favorite of the 12 because we included the islands as a region. So
Okay,
we're
so
actually
we'll
doing a
11.
regular... Yeah, we'll have... sorry. I have 2 bottles from Campbeltown, and I'm not going to tell you what the other one is. So thank you to our anonymous subscriber who actually chose to remain anonymous. And yeah, thank you very much.
You guys. Wow.
There you go. What do you think?
That's gorgeous. And
All right.
I'm so excited we get to continue our tour.
Open the box up. Both boxes of the 2 are a little bit, I wouldn't say damaged, but bruised a bit because they shipped, but they're pretty good shape. Yeah. A little tiny rip here and there, but not bad overall. There you go.
Oh, I love the green.
I know you do.
Wow. Okay. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what do you think of the color in the bottle?
the bottle is, wow, look at that. That is so beautiful. And the color is absolutely fantastic. And that is just the perfect color for me.
And the other thing I know about Springbank, and I did a lot of research while it was on its way, they do not use any coloring. So that is straight from the barrel, right? The barrel impact. I mean, it could be watered down a bit, but yeah. Go ahead and open it up and pour us a dram and tell us what you think. And I have lots of information about both Campbeltown and Springbank itself.
I am so excited.
I didn't notice that the bottle's actually embossed with Springbank Distillery written on it.
Yeah,
so that's kind of nice.
pretty.
Very nice.
Embossed.
Very nice.
Wow, this is so cool. Nice. All right. We should almost pour a 3rd glass.
For the subscriber?
Yeah.
That can be done.
All right.
All right. What do you think? The color's still pretty consistent in the in the glass?
I don't know what full-bodied means, but when I took that smell, that's a full-bodied.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time trying not to read any tasting notes or anything. And the great thing about Springbank is their website tells the whole history of the distillery and the process and everything. And then there's another whole tab for whiskeys. And so I didn't actually read any tasting notes or anything. So I'm actually just as blind as you are aside from the fact that I knew it was coming.
What do you pull out?
There's some sweetness, maybe some sort of dried fruit or some sort of, there's something else there. Like I don't know what the word is. Like a candy or something. You smell that?
I don't know. It's fantastic, whatever it is.
There's a lot of different smells, isn't there? Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow. That's a lot in a dram.
Wow. A little smoke.
A little bit of smoke. It is apparently a lightly peated. I can fill you in on the details.
That's how whiskey should taste.
Yeah, it's complex but rather smooth, especially at the end. Do you find it like it's got a little tiny bit of a nice soft bite, and then it's really smooth and creamy at the end? Do you taste that? Is that what you have?
I always have this visual of.
I know.
It's just a consistent, and it's got a nice full body the whole way through.
Yeah.
No aftertaste changes except for the light smoke. Other than that, it's just very consistent from start to finish. As far as the notes go,
so many different flavors. It's hard to pick them out. Do you find that? Like, I'm tasting a whole bunch of different things, but there's one thing that jumps out, and maybe that's because we're not used to it yet. It's
actually what you just said. You're right. It's very complex, but the blend is
beautiful,
so perfectly blended. I can't pick it out.
No, we do not have the experience to pull that apart. And maybe it needs to open up again. 15-year-old whiskey. We said last week a
you
minute,
might want to let
minute
it
in the
air.
glass. Yeah, a minute in the glass for every year in the cask. So let's let it sit while I tell you about Springbank. So, or even about Campbeltown. So Campbeltown, as you know, used to be sort of the whiskey capital of Scotland, of the world. There were over 30 distilleries in that small little peninsula. Now
I did not know that.
We talked about it when we talked about the major regions back 11 episodes ago, or 12 episodes ago. But it now has only 3 distilleries, and Springbank is the oldest that's there because it is actually one of the original when they had
Nice.
30 plus. And it's still in the same family. The Mitchell family founded it back, I forget the year, it's probably on the bottle somewhere, or if not, it's, anyway, a long time ago, in the 1800s. And it was even a legal distillery before it became a licensed distillery, of course, like most of them. Springbank themselves actually make 3 distinct, different brands of whiskey. So even though there's only 3 distilleries in Campbeltown, Springbank themselves make 3. So they make Springbank of various age statements. They make long row or long brow, long row, I think it's called. It's a heavily peated whiskey with various age statements. This is a lightly peated whiskey. And then they make one called Hazelburn. And Hazelburn is a traditionally non-peated triple distilled. This is the namesake. And so what Springbank did, or the Mitchell family did, is they actually bought up all the neighboring closest distilleries to them that had gone defunct, and they actually expanded their footprint, and it's all inside their own facility now. And they're the only distillery that does everything on site, from milling all the way to even putting the label on. Not even that, even just labeling, right? So the entire process is done on site. And it's the only one where everything's done on site, including all the milling and the drying and the mashing and all that before it even gets into the distillation process. And they don't rely on cooperages for their barrels. They actually go and source barrels whole and bring them back and treat them and reuse them. So everything's done on site. It's incredible.
Isn't it amazing? We were just about to wrap up. And
well, you were.
Yeah. And here's an entirely different whiskey.
I know.
Scotland. Wow.
I know. And this tiny little region only has 3 now, and it was the major whiskey production region in all of Scotland, right? So
I'm done already.
I know you really liked that one, didn't you?
Yes.
I'll pour us another. It is 46% alcohol by volume.
Wouldn't know it.
No, it's strong, but it's not like hurt you strong, right?
It's just so blended.
Yeah. A little bit of water. See what happens. Any different smells?
It feels like a little more sweeter.
I caught sweetness the first time. I'm catching it a little bit late. What the heck is that? It's something in my childhood. It's like repressed memories are coming back of a smell.
The only apple I remember from our childhood.
Oh, don't even talk about that. That was painful. James hit me with an apple. Strategically. Band-Aids? Do you smell a Band-Aid? Old school Band-Aid.
No.
Is it me? Is that even a thing? There's something there. And it's something that's in my childhood. It's some sort of memory that's there. I can't get what it is.
It's comforting, whatever it is.
Maybe it's the thought of my mother putting a Band-Aid on my knee and the comfort of that. Thanks, Mom. I don't know what it is. There's definitely some sweetness, a little tiny bit of smokiness, a tiny bit of earthiness. But all those things are so well blended together. It's incredible, actually. Again, 100 years of history, more than 100 years of history, all done in-house, hands-on process. It's incredibly complex, but yet smooth and consistent.
That's got to be the most blended.
Yeah, and I hate to use that word because blended whiskey implies different.
So they've right.
Yeah, it's a single malt Scotch, but the flavors and the nose
so blended.
Yeah, they've come together, right? And so maybe that's 15 years because this is the oldest whiskey we've tried too. Don't forget that.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right? We've had 12s. This is a 15, and it's a 15 in a real old school process.
Oh man, this
right?
Whiskey snob making.
Yeah, I know it is. We'll have to be spoiled. It is really freaking good. Okay, that's my first sip with water. Apricots? When was the last time I had an apricot?
That's so standard though. Like
no,
I
but this is the problem.
Oh.
I'm tasting 50,000.
I had like a second hit of smoke.
And that's that's what I'm getting. I'm getting like little tiny flavors, but they're all so well brought together. It's hard to pull out a single flavor. Very hard. We're gonna need to try this again before the 3 years and see if we can do better. What do you think?
Yeah, it would be fun to come back and be able to
pull really specific notes or really specific tastes. It's got a little tiny more heat on the back end now after the water. Do you find that?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I would say it's still very smooth and creamy, but it used to have a little bit of a sharp sort of at the beginning of the taste. Now it's closer to the back of the taste. But absolutely excellent. So here's the magic question. Would you buy this again?
It's funny because
you can't.
Right.
But, would you arrange for it to be logistically transported to your
Yes,
home?
And in fact, I think it's worth doing that. And it almost adds to the. I mean, obviously, it's very special because this was sent to us, which is amazing. But yeah, I think this is worthy of jumping through hoops. To get it.
It logistically was sent to us, but I did pay.
Okay.
It was $130.
Ooh.
It is the most expensive bottle we have. We had paid $80 for a couple. This has jumped our $100 price range, but in the honor of trying one per major region in Scotland,
this is
splurged.
Absolutely, and it's funny because just ahead of the episode, I had kind of picked my 3 favorites because I thought we were going to do that episode.
And now you have to redo it. Hold on to that thought.
Yeah.
We have another episode next week.
Yeah.
Where we have one more Campbelltown whiskey.
So let me ask you, because I think we've gone as high as 85-ish?
I think, and I don't know for sure, but I think like 80 and change. Yeah. Not even 81, but 80 and change was our highest, I think. And there was 2 that were at that 80 range.
So bang for the buck.
It's a lot more bang and it's a lot more buck. Right. So, and that's one of the things. Like, remember when we did our last 10, I picked the Bushmills over the Aaron because it was like almost half the price of the Aaron. The Aaron is a better whiskey than the Bushmills. I will say that today. But bang for your buck, the Bushmills kills the Aaron. Kills it. Right?
Now this is a little different because it is so...
It has a story behind it. It has, you know, a human hand is in every single process.
And they do everything.
From start to finish. 5 generations, all on site. Like, you know, not like calling a cooperage and saying we need 40 barrels. They go out and find the barrels they want. Ex-sherry, ex-bourbon. They travel throughout Europe to get the barrels and bring them back. Like, this distillery is doing it old school and has been for over 100 years. Over 150 years. Crazy.
That is so smooth.
1828, I think, was like, think about that. We're almost at 200 years.
That is so smooth. It is so pleasant. And then there's almost a delay before the smoke.
Little sharp, little smoke, creamy finish. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like, absolutely beautiful.
It's like a hug on the way out.
Yeah, it's like your mother putting a Band-Aid on your knee. You're welcome.
Wow.
And thank you, anonymous logistical planner, I'll call them.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't believe someone
reached out, said I can help. Here's how I can help. Yep. Crazy.
Speechless.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It is. So why don't we pour ourselves another dram?
Are you done already?
Well, pretty close. I'm gonna be done.
I can't stop staring at the bottle. I love the colors and.
I know you. I knew you. As soon as I saw the color when it showed up, when I opened the box, I'm like, James is gonna love this. It's
favorite
the first
color.
Yeah,
green.
yeah. It matches his watch. You know.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you very much. And consistently, nice watch. You need to switch it up. But tonight, appropriately, you wore the green watch.
Yeah. That has expanded our horizons.
Yeah, it's
15-year.
It's more complex, but more brought together than everything else we've ever had. Right? Because everything else, if it's this complex, we've had complex, but the complex tends to be like fireworks.
Punching you in the face.
Yeah, well, it's all over the place. Even if it's not even fireworks or punching in the face, it's in different places.
Yeah, you can.
This is really consistent, but you can just add the nuance of
so many different
heat,
things.
Sweet, a little bit of punchiness, a little bit of smokiness, but it's like so smooth through that process. It's incredible. Yeah, blown away.
You know what I notice? In a lot of the whiskeys that I enjoy, sometimes there's a part of it where I live with.
Yeah, it's a little too harsh or too sweet or too peaty or too smoky. I know what you mean.
Yeah, like...
and you're like, you get past it because the rest of it is great.
Right.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And it could be anywhere, but the swallow is common, yeah.
This is...
It's beautiful throughout. And it's nuanced. Like, it's so smooth. And those changes are subtle and delightful. I'm blown away. What do you think? Shall we pour a third for our guest?
Oh,
thank you. Thank you for the Kopika nosing glasses.
What?
And for logistically arranging us.
I didn't know that.
To get a couple of Campbeltown whiskeys. Cheers.
That is fantastic.
All right. Cheers. Cheers.
Had to cheer them first.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's awesome. It's perfect.